Now joining us, Secretary at Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Mr. Giridhar Aramane is now with us. So firstly, thank you so much for taking out time for ET Now. It's completely a pleasure talking to you. You know, if we just talk about the road sector, for last 10 years, the sector has constantly grown despite no capex, no particular pickup, no particular investment in any other infrastructure. But now when you're getting noise of, investments and capex coming in all across the sectors, how do you think road sector will lead this entire growth?
Actually, our performance, if you see, last 4 years, 5 years, has been growing at 20% CAGR. And last year was exceptionally good with 37% achievement in construction. And also the private sector interest has been rejuvenated. If you see last year, after a long time, we successfully launched a BOT project. And also TOT bundles were also successfully bid off. So this clearly shows that the investors are showing renewed interest in the long-term infrastructure investment. And also the long-term players from abroad, like pension funds, sovereign funds, are actively pursuing various opportunities in infrastructure sector, both highways as well as the power sector. This is a very good sign. And I see that in the coming years, with the launch of InvITs, the new and modified model concession agreements for BOT, TOT, we hope to generate more interest among the private sector investors in the infrastructure sector.
Right, sir. So road has, of course, been leading the infrastructure growth. But there is one other important aspect, whether we talk about safety, whether we talk about improvement of efficiency, right from FASTag to any other methods which the ministry and the government has approved. How do you think that's playing an important role in reducing the timeline which is needed for transportation of goods, which is an important efficiency indicator as well?
See, there is a multifarious program which is being implemented to improve the logistics efficiency in the country. If you remember, when we started Bharatmala program, the first thing we did was a study on logistics efficiency improvement on the national highway system. It encompassed not only the national highways, but the economic infrastructure connected to it, like how the ports should improve themselves, the airports connectivity, how it shall be improved, and how the containerization, etc., should proceed in a smooth fashion. So the program prepared for Bharatmala was a comprehensive one. It not only involved construction of expressways and highways, it looked at multimodal logistics parks at important locations. It also looked at the congestion points. Around 180 and odd congestion points were identified in various places, various regions of the country, and the program to rectify that has been chopped out. So firstly, the expressways we are building are going to be one of the most efficient. They are of global standard. Some of them are 88-lane expressway supported by another 8 lanes of the service roads and the regular national highway. Some of them are access control totally 6-lane or 8-lane expressways. This will reduce travel time at least by 25 to 30% between the destinations between which they are built. That being the first priority. The second one, we have ensured that the safety is given its due importance in construction of the expressways and highways. The access control we have provided definitely increase the cost. Wherever we have to give access, we have to ensure that a proper interchange is built. If you see the new roads we have built, the cost of the structures is much more than the pavement itself. So the road safety got its due importance while designing and constructing these roads to ensure that the commuters and the transporters get full benefit of a fully functional, safe national highway. Thirdly, what we have done is we have identified 35 locations where there is a need to establish multimodal logistics parks. These essentially are places which connect all types of the transportation methods, modes, like a railway, airport, a port, and a national highway. Many times the state highways and the district roads are also connected to them, which basically lead to an industrial center, whether it's an industrial node and an industrial corridor, or it can be even an industrial cluster set up by the state government. It provides the connectivity to the hinterland producing agricultural products. It also provides the logistics facility to the industries, the small scale industry, medium scale industry in the rural and backward areas. That way, the program we are implementing is a comprehensive one, and the cabinet under the leadership of Prime Minister has been extremely careful while designing the Bharatmala program. And the multimodal logistics master plan, that is PM Gati Shakti, which will be launched tomorrow, will also give a boost to the entire concept of multimodal connectivity to the economic centers. I hope the revolution which is being brought in by Gati Shakti will be understood properly and implemented expeditiously by all the ministries and the stakeholders concerned.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Aramane. This is Cheryl also joining in the conversation. Talking about the recently announced national monetization pipeline, will NHAI lead the innovative method of funding? Also, if you could tell us, will this help for quick execution going ahead?
See, I have to qualify the innovation here very carefully, because infrastructure, as all of you know, requires long-term funding where the risk appetite is built up among the players who understand the macroeconomic risk and basically the sovereign risk and also the interest rate risks involved in infrastructure investment. That's why the commercial banks are unable to extend the necessary funding to these type of projects. They have done their best during last 4 or 5 years in extending huge amounts for building some of the monumental national highways like Delhi-Mumbai Expressway, Delhi-Meerut Expressway, and Delhi-Amritsar Katra Expressway. However, the capacity to fund such long-term financing is limited. So the need to tap the long-term funds from both the domestic market as well as from abroad has arisen. I don't exactly call InvIT or a TOT an innovative method. They have been well tested throughout the world, but InvIT will give a very transparent and also very useful method of bringing in efficiencies in investment as well as project management. That's why Government of India has actively encouraged setting up of the InvITs by Government of India ministries. Power Ministry has already done the pioneering work. They have gone public with their initial unit offering. When we are doing a private placement with the long-term investors like the pension funds, sovereign funds, and our own insurance companies and provident fund players. So this is going to be a major innovation in terms of Indian segment. While the other international players have been investing in such instruments for quite some time, for us, we can say it's innovation, but we'll continue with our existing models. That is building a road with public funds, certain types of roads, and then monetizing them through long-term toll contracts such as TOT contracts, and also bidding out some of the viable projects, highway projects under BOT model. The third one is establishment of an SPV and securitizing the revenue generated by that SPV through toll collections and other value-added services to the commercial banks or the financial institutions. That model will also continue. So all in all, we are categorizing the risk appetite of various players, various investors in the market, and trying to match their risk appetite with the type of risk reward system we have in each of our models. And we have done several tweaks in our model concession agreements over last 1.5 years. And the improvements made in the BOT contract and TOT contract are going to be major attraction for the investors in the coming months.
Right, sir. Got the point, sir. There are a lot of avenues that you're talking about, innovative, non-innovative, appetite for investors, and interest rates are also on the lower side. But so one thing that has changed probably, from 12 months down the line when you would be planning this sort of an execution is, prices of raw materials all across the board have gone up. More than prices, availability of containers have become an issue. So certain important products, may not be available on time. How is that impacting the execution, IRR, overall space? Do you believe that that's a big hurdle at this point of time, or it's still a developing sort of a situation?
Yes, what you said is a major concern for all of us. The bitumen prices have shot up 50% over last 3 years. Similarly, steel prices, cement prices also have increased 70 to 80% over last 4 years. This has led to a steep increase in the cost of construction. Cement and steel directly contribute to the increase in the cost of construction of the structures. The type of structures I was talking about, the interchanges, the road over bridges consume a lot of cement and steel, and this will directly impinge upon the viability of the projects in a major way. We are worried about cartelization in steel and cement sectors, and we have been watching the market very closely. And I am sure the government of India will take appropriate measures to ensure adequate supplies to the construction sector. And the bitumen, which we import a lot of it from abroad, also has gone up during the recent times. And this will affect the cost of construction of the pavements in a major fashion. So to overcome these issues, we are adopting several measures. We are bringing in alternative material into play. We are also trying to economize on the use of such material to ensure that the cost of construction stays within the limit and the project viability is not affected. We can do that only to a very limited extent. The alternative material will not be totally replacing this traditional conventional building material. So we need to find a way out to meet the supply constraints. Increase in the prices of the important inputs is tackled effectively to bring back some sanity into cement and steel markets.
Right. So also, I just wanted to understand about one thing. In 2003 and 8, there was a lot of aggressive bidding all across projects. People just did not think that prices of raw material, prices of interest rates can change quite substantially, and everybody thought that this is the most sunrise sector with growth being there. Are you seeing this sort of aggressive bidding activity at this point of time, or things are rational and people who have survived will lead to better execution and there should not be any major problems of the ordering activity that has happened in the last couple of years?
2003 to 8 was mainly driven by liquidity infused by the commercial banks, and also the way the money was diverted. The borrowed money was diverted into real estate in a major fashion during that period, 2003 to 8. So the contractors adopted aggressive bidding in order to get a project based on which they will borrow money from the banks. Now the situation is totally different. Now the tweaks done in the model concession agreement have effectively protected the contractors and concessionaires from the macroeconomic risk. Like now we have linked the interest NHAI pays to the contractors in PAM model to the MCLR of the SBI and other major banks. So the interest cost is directly market linked, which means that the contractors are not exposed to any interest rate risk in future also. Similarly, the contractors have been safeguarded against any macroeconomic risk, including traffic risk by Government of India. So whoever is coming into this sector now will not be affected in a major fashion by any change in the macroeconomic scenario. If the interest rates go up in future, their returns are protected. Even if the traffic falls below a certain percentage, their interests are protected. So in a way, we have changed the entire framework under which the civil contracts are being bid out in NHAI and Road Transport Ministry's other wings. So I don't see any such risk in the next few years of the civil contractors becoming bankrupt and going into NCLT in a queue. So whatever has happened previously was due to the mismanagement both by the commercial banks as well as the contractors of the liquidity made available during that period.
Right. So on that note, we're taking a break. Nifty down about 45 points, 17,901. Taking a break. Stay tuned. Lots more lined up on the other side of this.